You're with RT International, welcome back. Now, the surviving pilot from the downed Russian Su-24 bomber is making a full recovery from his ordeal and has given an interview to journalists. He gave his assessment of events that happened over the Syrian-Turkish border on Tuesday.
There were no warnings, neither by radio nor visual. There was no contact at all. That's why we were taking the route as usual. We should bear in mind the speed of our bomber jet and that of the Turkish fighter jets. If they had wanted to warn us, they could have been taking a parallel route, but they never did. And the rocket hit the tail of our jet suddenly. We didn't even see it coming. It's impossible, even for a second. We were at a height of some 6,000 meters. The weather was clear. I was completely in control of the flight until the moment the rocket exploded. I saw everything on the map and on the ground. There was no possibility of us crossing into Turkey. We made the flights lots of times. I know the route very well. I want to leave the hospital and go back to service as soon as possible. I'll ask the chiefs to leave me at the same military base. I must repay my commander.
The Russian frontline bomber was shot down by a fighter jet after an alleged violation of Turkish airspace. The Russian military insists its plane did not cross the border. Aviation lawyer timurJAUH says that even if the Russian jet did enter Turkey, it did not pose a threat to the country.
This plane has, if at all, just touched Turkish airspace and not really violated. This happens all over the place. It happens every day. Violation of international law must be done intentionally, firstly, and this must be combined with a kind of threat to the neighboring country, and nothing of this sort can be seen here in this case. If a foreign plane crosses your airspace without any approval of the government, then of course you have the possibility either to force it to land or to leave your airspace. So this plane has left the airspace. There was no reason to enforce anything. It has done it voluntarily. The only thing which could have been done is, of course, a kind of diplomatic protest note. I cannot believe that the person, the soldier who has pressed the button, did it on its own. So there must be a chain of orders. Of course, cannot be organized in just a few seconds or minutes. This takes hours. If there was an order from the top, whoever the top is, down to the soldiers in charge, if there is the slightest violation of our Turkish airspace, then please press the button immediately.
Well, Tuesday's attack on the Russian bomber is the first such incident between a NATO country and Moscow in half a century. Across the media, there are concerns that relations between the alliance and Russia could worsen and see a return to Cold War times. Turkey has been supported by its NATO allies for defending its airspace. However, some strong words were said to Ankara during an emergency meeting, according to Russia's top diplomat.
The way that NATO discussion went is no secret to us. It was very heated. Turkey was sharply rebuked for the attack on the Russian plane. We also know that the statement made by the NATO Secretary General was not agreed by everyone.
Well, while NATO is urging all sides to remain calm and avoid escalation in Europe, concerns are growing that Ankara's aggressive action is benefiting Islamic State. Allegations of an illegal oil trade with Turkey are once again on the radar.
Basically, that shouldn't happen. For many years, we have been insisting that it's time to pull Turkey's ears, speaking in a diplomatic way. This country, despite being a NATO member, as I've said before, has demonstrated extreme connivance towards terrorist groups that are destabilizing Syria.
The Turks are buying oil from ISIL. We have proof that almost all oil exported by Islamic State is going directly to Turkish refineries. There are even no detours. These trade routes go directly to Turkish companies that are processing this oil. The collusion between Turkey with Islamic State is evident, and it sparks serious concerns.
President Erdogan has several objectives. His first goal is to gain access to oil in Iraqi Kurdistan. Secondly, he wants to take control of northern Syria to create a buffer zone. Finally, the fight against ISIL permits Erdogan to justify Turkey's military operations against the Kurds in Syria and to divert attention from Turkey's hegemonic attitude. Erdogan's policies are insanely dangerous.
Well, another issue for Europe, of course, is the uncontrolled influx of migrants making their way through Turkey to the EU, which was highlighted following the Paris massacre. French President François Hollande insists the Turkish-Syrian border should be closed to prevent terrorists from flowing into Europe.
It is a matter of urgency to close the border between Turkey and Syria and prevent the terrorists from crossing the border and coming to Europe or other places and carrying out such terrible attacks.
Well, the downing of the Russian Su-24 frontline bomber is also the focus of Worlds Apart. Today's guest is retired U.S. Army Major General Paul Vallely. He believes Ankara's attack is a clear provocation, and you can watch the program in just a few moments right here on RT.